Hello everybody, this is going to be my Horseshoe Las Vegas review. As some of you might know, I stayed at the Horseshoe Las Vegas, formerly known as Bally's, in June for the 2024 World Series of Poker. Here is my review of primarily the poker room. The poker room was lackluster. It's brand new. Well, I shouldn't say brand new. It's a couple of years old. It isn't that nice. The rake is very high, 10% up to $6 in a 1-3 game, with the MGM across the street was 10% up to $5. I don't know what the jackpot drop, the player promotions drop for was at MGM because I couldn't find it listed anywhere. But the drop for the high-hand drop, which was only $100 every half hour at the Horseshoe during the World Series, was $2. Meaning effectively the maximum taken out of the pot in a 1-3 game was $8, 10% up to $6, and another $2 for the high-hand drop, or promotional drop. In this case, it was just a high hand. Also, worth noting, they didn't allow players to chop the blind because they wanted the minimum $1 drop for the promotional drop. Very strange. I did not like playing at the Horseshoe. I typically wouldn't recommend playing there. I will say that the dealers and everything were not good at all. But that may just be because a lot of them were traveling and more inexperienced dealers there for the World Series of Poker. So I won't blame that on the dealers necessarily, or at least not on the ones that are there regularly. However, I did have two experiences that were very odd at the Horseshoe Las Vegas poker room. One of them being that there was a guy who I later found out was almost certainly mentally ill, who was violently babbling about cutting people up with a machete and killing people, and the dealer let it go because he thought he was just on the phone. Now, meanwhile, I will say this guy was getting dealt in hands, so I'm not exactly sure what it would matter that he was just on the phone. He was being violent and vulgar and was currently being dealt in. So even if the phone call was normal, he shouldn't have been allowed on the phone to begin with. And it took pretty much an entire down, i.e. dealer rotation, for that to be stopped. It was embarrassing, and they should totally be embarrassed at that. Second, there was a guy, and I didn't want to tell the floor about this because I didn't want to escalate the situation. The guy was clearly either having a very bad day or what turned out to be more likely was mentally ill in some capacity. The dealer did end up calling the floor. He did end up getting kicked out. So the situation resolved itself, but it was a very uncomfortable 30 to 45 minutes. There was also another issue where a guy was actively being dealt in and was on the phone during the hand through a Bluetooth speaker. Now, I've talked about this before on the channel, my feelings on cell phones at the table, but in no way should you be allowed to be actively in a phone call while actively in a hand. Now, it did sound from what I could hear like the guy was in perhaps trucking business and was dealing with a business phone call. So I don't think I have no reason to believe, nor do I believe anyway, that I was being cheated or that anything untoward was going on. However, once again, the dealer allowed it, and I didn't want to be that guy to bring it up, but it was bad. So the rake was extremely high. The jackpot drop was also extremely high, and the player promotion job was extremely high. It wasn't that good of a player promotion, and the dealers were not that great. Also, the room itself isn't that great, even though they just built it a couple of years ago, like 2, maybe 3 years ago. They spent millions of dollars calling it the Hall of Fame poker room. It isn't closed off. There's not even a glass door anywhere, which is fine, but the whole thing is just kind of jammed. They could probably use a few less tables, which of course they won't do because it would lower what they make, but it just isn't nice. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend playing there if you can avoid it. Obviously, for convenience sake, I did and probably will continue to, but it's not great, and I would recommend trying another poker room. I've heard good things about all of the MGM poker rooms. The MGM Grand is supposed to have a nice room, and it's just a short monorail ride down, as well as the Sahara, which is a little further down, has a nice room as well. And of course, the Bellagio, one of the nicest rooms in Vegas, is just down the street, and just across the street, and the Aria is just down the street from the Bellagio, also a very nice room. So, if you're going to play poker in Las Vegas on that side of the strip, if you can avoid it, I would recommend avoiding a higher rake and a weird player promotion drop, along with maybe some inexperienced dealers and just not a very nice room. For those of you that are interested in comps, however, they do have a couple of games that offer double comps. I don't know if they do this year round or not. They have a 2-3 game, which offers double comps to the 1-3, and a 4-8 limit game, which offers double comps. I believe it's $2 an hour, so it's not that much regardless. So if you're into comps, there's that, and if you are a Caesars Diamond member, you do get to skip to the top of the wait list. So if you have Diamond status, that may or may not be worth it to play there, depending on time of the year. I will say this about the hotel. The Horseshoe Las Vegas hotel. They were nice to me. The check-in staff was nice. They had the right room. They accommodated all of my disability needs. However, honestly, even though they just remodeled, it's not bad. But I did get the feeling that maybe the MGM properties would have been better if you're not Diamond status. I was, so I got out of the resort fees, and that was worth it to stay there over anywhere else. But if you aren't Diamond status, there are definitely some better nearby properties, even on that part of the strip, that I would recommend checking out. I haven't stayed at any of them, so I could be wrong about this. And some of the other Caesars hotels like Planet Hollywood, just down the street, if you're not looking to stay right at a poker room, may even be better. And Planet Hollywood is connected to the Miracle Mile shops, where there are great eateries. So to sum up, my review of the Horseshoe Las Vegas hotel was, it's okay. I was Caesars Diamond. I got out of resort fees. It's definitely worth staying there if you have Diamond status and don't have to pay resort fees. If you don't have Diamond status, you will have to pay Diamond or above. You will have to pay resort fees. I'm not so sure there aren't better places to stay. As far as the poker room goes, even though it's brand new, it was mediocre. I had some bad experiences that I outlined in this video. So as far as the Horseshoe Las Vegas poker room goes, maybe it was just the time of year because I was there for the World Series of Poker, but it definitely could have been better, and I was not a fan. Again, take that with a grain of salt. I'm just a guy. I'm a recreational player. I play 1-3. It's not like I was playing super high limits, but the Bellagio is just across the street. I've played there before. It's a much better room. It's a better atmosphere. Yeah, the games are probably tougher, but still, if you're going to play cards in Vegas and you're there as a recreational for a good time, go to the Bellagio across the street. Caesars probably isn't worth it, unless you're just looking for convenience and then show, I guess. Alright, that's my review of the Horseshoe Las Vegas Hotel and Poker Room from June 2024.